Hello everybody, my name is Ilya.
And my name is Tyler. Together we make up Kovray, a couple that loves to play board games.
And we love Disney.
We do. And we've been talking about villains quite recently, so why not talk about another villains game called Disney Villains, the card game.
So Disney Villains, the card game, is designed by Leo Colovini and is published by Ravensburger, who provided us this review copy.
And basically in this game is you'll take the role of a villain, putting together a team of henchmen and, well, yourself. And the worst part about it is you want to make sure you don't get your plans schemed or ruined by the heroes.
That is the worst part.
I
Why
know.
would heroes come interfere with our villainous plans?
Dang heroes.
Well, let's give you a quick overview of how to play. As always, you'll begin by setting up. Each player will choose a villain they want to play and take their whole deck and shuffle it. Then they'll reveal one card from the deck and then draw 4 cards. Now on your turn, you'll play a card that matches the card that is currently already played in front of you. Either the number or the color. But the catch is if either that number or that color is present on your opponents to the left or the right, you'll have to play it there instead. However, you can always choose to play another card or choose to play a card face down on the hero side. So this is how the heroes infiltrate your deck. By playing it on the hero side, the next turn you can play any card. But the same rules apply. If any of the colors match the people to your right or left, you'll have to place on their decks instead. Each villain will also have a specialty card. This card can be played at the center, and its ability will be used to benefit you. And each villain's ability is slightly different. You can send a whirlpool, you can draw cards from people's hands that they have to play, and there's much more in this game for all the 6 villains. Now you'll keep playing until every card has been played, and now it's time to score. The way that scoring works is you'll count the number of heroes that you have, and then take all the cards out of your villains that correspond to that number. So if you have 4 heroes, you'll take out all the 4s and you won't score them. If you ever exceed 6 heroes, you'll take 6 plus whatever the amount is. So if it's 7, you'll take all the 6s and 1s out. And those are potential points you could have scored, because at the end, you'll just count all the points that you had left over, and the player with the most wins.
Will you put together the most evil team and conquer the realm?
I will.
Maybe you won't. Not with a voice like that. Your voice has to be evil.
Well, let's jump into our first impressions of this game. What did you think?
This game surprised me a lot, honestly. I thought it was going to be super light, which it is, and that's great. But once we got going, it was like this fun little game where you had to pay attention to all these things that were happening. The amount of times where the number or the color matched and you couldn't play the cards in your hand was quite frustrating, actually. And then that decision where you had to like try and put your hero card down instead was very interesting.
Because you can't ever check how many you have. You can only see the top card. So sometimes you get lost track of that, especially if there's whirlwinds and cards checked.
Whirlpools.
Whirlpools. Well, I think I felt really similar. It takes a lot for me now, I think, to be impressed with a card game, because there's so many card games that we've played now.
Fair.
And I feel a lot like I can see like, oh, I like this, but I like this one better that does it. And we were playing this, and we played it, I think, the first time like 3 or 4 times in a row.
Yep.
And we were like, do we just keep playing? Like, we have these other games we should play, or we want to play. Like, should we just keep playing this? Probably. And we actually did.
Yep.
We chose to play this instead of a bunch of other games. And I've been really wanting to play it again. And the fact that you can play with 6 players too,
that's
is really cool.
Yeah.
And you don't get really confused because you're always playing with your opponents to the side. So it's really, it scales up. It's still really fun, and it's really crunchy as well.
Yeah, it almost gives a bit of chaotic energy too when you are playing in that, paying attention to your left and right. The different villains are awesome. The changes to their abilities are not significant enough to make the game like super grindy, which is fantastic, which means you can transition from like I keep saying heroes, but I mean villains. You keep transitioning from one villain to another villain, and I think that's a lot of fun because all of them provide this like smaller, different strategic way to go about your game, and that's really cool to me.
I really hope they come out with more and more decks of different villains.
That would be cool.
Because it's such a slight variation, but it keeps it really fun.
Just like a small little pack of game.
Or just another box with 6
cool.
more. I wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
Well, what are some of the standouts from this game? What are some of the key takeaways we want to share?
Yeah, I think we kind of already touched on a lot of them, but I'll just like, I guess, summarize.
Okay.
The variety of characters is fantastic. There's 6 of them, so you're bound to have a villain that you want to play. Each of them has different abilities.
What if you don't like any of the 6 villains?
Then
You can't guarantee a promise.
well, you're bound to like one of them at least.
What if you don't?
Just pick the one you hate the most or something. I don't know. Because it's villains. Who knows? Maybe that's how you decide who you want to play. Is that how you decide who your least favorite, your favorite villain is? I don't know. Who knows? But the variety of characters is fantastic in this game, and their abilities are really neat to play around with.
What's your favorite ability?
Ursula's.
Okay.
So when you were calling it a whirlwind, I was like,
it's a whirlpool, I get it. Ursula's not in the sky.
yeah, exactly.
My favorite is Scar. Because in Scar, you take out
fun.
You take out your left and right opponent's cards, and they have to play those cards.
Yeah.
So sometimes it benefits you, or if they can't play it on their own card, they have to flip it and they get a hero. So it's always, I like push your luck.
They could play it on the
and that's a
other
very
side.
push your luck type of mechanic for sure.
It is. It is a lot of fun. There's a lot of variety, and that's one thing I can appreciate about this small box. The second standout is
that it's truly anybody's game. Because you really don't know how many points you're going to score. Like And I think I've tried at one point to keep track of, like, is Tyler getting the 6s? But, like, with things shifting, and especially with multiplayer as well, things just keep going, and you're just like, I don't know what's happening. Like, what's going on here? Yeah. So it's really interesting to observe that. But then at the end, it's a nice reveal because you start laying out the piles. Here's my 1s, here's my 2s. And all of a sudden, you have this big piles of 3s. But you got 3 heroes.
Yeah.
You got 3 heroes and they're all gone. And I think that's like, it's only a 15-minute game. It plays really fast. There's 20 cards. 1's already on the table. So you take 19 turns. It's pretty quick. Yeah. So at the end of that, it's pretty funny if someone's, all their points are just like gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to make that decision, which I guess like brings me to my next standout point would be like, the matching of colors and numbers and then your decision of whether or not you play a hero is super interesting to me because you do have to be cautious. It takes a lot of memory to remember what is in your deck, and you do have to be very cautious of playing the cards, your heroes, when you are collecting a lot of 3s or 4s or
maybe you're collecting
5s.
Variety.
Yeah, and you want to be weary about doing that. And I think it's an interesting decision point for a lot of people to make. Obviously not like super... like, it's not a hard decision to make, but it is one of those decisions that can very much impact the end of your game, and I like that a lot.
And it's definitely not a memory game. Like, your point is not to remember what's happening. Like, it's definitely play your cards, see what happens, play it again, see if you can improve your strategy. But it is a really cool mechanic, because there's so many times where I wondered, do I give this 2 to Tyler? Or do I flip it? Like, and it's hard to know the advantage because, like, is he gonna win by 2 points? But maybe he has 2 heroes, so he'll cancel it anyway. Yeah. And then I don't get any negative detriment. So like that layers, like you never really know the answer. So it's more of like you keep playing until you really feel confident in that strategy, and I really like that in games.
Yeah, and of course you don't want to put too many heroes down because the 6s are worth the most points in your game, and you don't want to have no points from the 6s you get.
Well, I think we're at our last section. What are our overall thoughts of Disney Villains the card game?
I said at the very beginning, I was very surprised by this game. I'm excited to play it. I'm excited to teach it. It's very easy, very smooth to get to the table, and I really appreciate a small box game that can provide this much fun.
I think what I'll say is, and I'm not going to compare, bear with me in this example, but I think this game replaces Scout for me in a way that when we first played Scout, I had to show Scout to everybody. Like, it was like the game, like, we always started with Scout. We always played Scout. That's how we started. And then I think we played, like, so many games of Scout. And fair. I think this game is going to replace that, where now we're playing board games. Let's quickly do 15 minutes to see how you feel about Disney Villains. Because it's so fast, it's so easy, and it's really fun. So I think it's going to get into that rotation of let's quickly play this before we get to the other games as well, which I'm really excited about.
That's fair. I think Scout is definitely...
I'm not trying to compare the
No, I know. But I'm just going to throw this out there because you brought Scout up. Scout's a little bit more difficult to teach than this game because of you can't move your hand, you can't... you have to play, like, certain orders and then, like, the trumping rules of those things. Anyways.
We didn't even say that. The teaching this game is so easy.
Oh, I said it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's smooth and easy to teach. I I think the great thing about this
was
game
in
is
my
you can just
book.
hand somebody a deck and be like, we're playing war. But
Play a card,
like,
draw a card.
yeah,
Play a card, draw
exactly.
a card.
And I think like what ends up happening for this game is, for me, is I think it like works perfectly. I'm always looking for like theme nights to have, and this adds perfectly to it. Not only does it add to a Disney theme night, but it also adds to a villains theme night. Because now you can play this at the start, jump into the villainous games, and then you're good to go. You could also just
You can just play this for the rest of the night too.
Yeah, who knows? So I think the point being is like this is a great filler game for those theme nights that I've been thinking about with the Disney, with the villains, and I'm very excited that this is now a part of our collection.
Perfect appetizer. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed our content, let us know in the comments down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you have any questions around this game, we're definitely happy to chat about it. For our question of the day, I'm curious what your favorite card game is.
Oh yeah, I want to know too.
Because card games are everywhere. They're so much fun.
Yeah, I could not name mine right off the bat.
And when is it a card game?
Oh.
If there's a little bit pebbles in it, is it a card game?
Like Love Letter or something like that?
Oh, yeah, Love Letter's a good example. Or No Thanks.
Yeah.
It has those. Is that it? Because those are technically card games in my brain. Or is it strictly cards? What's your definition? So those are two fun questions you can answer.
Well, we really appreciate you taking your time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, please give us that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here, because we make weekly board game content, and we have a lot of fun doing it. But until next time, this is us probably going to play this game. Bye!
Bye!
I'm now realizing we can't play this game because it's 3 players.
Exactly.